Welcome back to the IBSP. Here's your host, Foxy New.
Brian Norman Jr. is a hype job, and look, let's break it down honestly and objectively as possible. And first off, let me start by giving Brian Norman Jr. his flowers. Brian Norman Jr. is a very solid fighter. He has good potential to go on to be a really good fighter at some point one day. He also has a lot of heart. You know, the guy doesn't just give up and quit. He fights on until the very end. So I got a lot of respect for Brian Norman Jr. Now, with all of that being said, I have to be honest and unbiased about Brian Norman Jr., that the man turned out to be a hype job. And the reason why he turned out to be a hype job is because his fan base, his father, and everybody around him and supporting him in the media, the fans, everybody saying that this man was a complete package ready to go. I've heard when we talk about Brian Norman Jr., his defense is on point, his power's on point, his chin's on point, his footwork is on point, and his IQ is extremely high, so he can figure out and adjust almost anything in the ring. Now, I've always been one to say Brian Norman's a solid fighter, but at the same time, he has a lot of question marks. He hasn't proven anything. And yet people say, well, you know, Brian Norman, he's this, he's that. He has all these abilities. You're about to find out. But, you know, at the end of the day, people that called Boots Ennis the eye test champion were giving Brian Norman Jr. a pass, talking about how excellent he is in all these categories, while he don't even have half the resume of a Boots Ennis. Make that make sense. I mean, let's be honest. When you look at a guy like Brian Norman Jr., his resume is dookie. We know it. And he need more development with his ring IQ, his adaptability, and his defense. The man is not a finished product. He's not a complete product. And that's what I mean by hype job. He has the potential to be an excellent fighter one day, but potential is not a finished product, and that's not the Brian Norman we have today. He still needs to be developed. That's what we have right now. So when people were talking about, you know, Boots is the eye test champion and Brian Norman Jr. is the real deal, it already shows you that these guys are fanboys, haters, and trolls. And at the end of the day, you know, Brian Norman ducked Boots Ennis for a reason.